Okay, we see a lot of neck problems in the clinic, and what I'm going to show you today is my top or best 3 ways to improve the rotation. Because what we see with people with neck pain, headaches, stiffness, is a loss of rotation, right? So when people rotate, they may not get all the way around. And a lot of that stiffness can be restored with doing a bit of homework. Obviously in the clinic, we mobilize them, get them looser, but they've still got to go home and do some homework. And it's one of those parts of the body where no one wants to do those exercises. So I'm going to give you 3 things to try and see if it gives you a little bit more scope in doing those exercises, 1, correctly, but also 2, making them a bit more effective than maybe what you've been doing before. So let's have a look at simple rotation that you can do at work. So for Pam here, when she rotates, what I want you to sort of look at, if you rotate for me around to the left, is we want that pure rotation, okay? What we don't want is, if you come back again, is people, when they rotate, they start side bending, okay? Because that's going to limit them a little bit, right? So what we've got to make sure of is when they go home with homework, they've got to keep their neck even, or their eyes even all the way around when they rotate to the left, so, or the right. When you go around to the left, you can see how, like, if you tilt over, she's going to crunch down on that side. So what we want to start off with is making sure they're not actually extended. So most people, when they start to rotate, they're already extended. So they've got to just drop their chin a little bit. Now, it doesn't mean going down into flexion. What they've got to do is just not be looking up when they rotate. They've got to be chin in. And the best thing to think of is, instead of having your chin forward into protraction, you bring it back into retraction first, but not all the way back. So what I don't mean, okay, bring it all the way back like a full retraction. What I want to get her to do is just come away from that protracted position where most people sort of sit because they've got neck problems, is just pull the chin back sort of halfway. So you're sort of into neutral a little bit. Then what she's got to try and do is keep that in, right? And not let it go forward as she rotates. So when she goes around to the left, she's got to think about keeping that chin in as she goes around, okay, to get that pure rotation. And some of the sort of analogies I like to think of is, if you know those things at the circus where you pop the ping pong balls in, and it's like the clowns, it's like that. They just rotate without moving or tilting left or right, all right? And then coming back. Now, what the best thing to do is to try and keep her from going into extension or into flexion or too far back, or when she rotates going forward again. What she needs to do is, if she's going left, use her right hand. So if you bring your right hand up for me. What she does, like a pistol grip, is she puts the sort of thumb on the jaw and the fingers on the chin. Okay, and what she's going to do is, that's her guide. Okay, so if she keeps her eyes level, brings her chin in a little bit, then she actually helps guide. She looks around to the left, but helps guide with the right to keep that level. All right, so this is her guide, rather than just her head sort of rolling around. She uses her hand to guide her back and forth. Now, the beauty about this is, once she gets good at doing that, and she can just sort of guide her chin around as though she's just pushing around like a mechanical arm, okay, then she can start working on some overpressure. So once you get that range a little bit and things are starting to improve, but you need a little bit more, then what she does is keeps that retraction in, and then she overpresses like this way. And when she does that, she'll feel that up in her cervical spine at the back here. All right, she'll feel that stretch in there and then come away. So this allows her to give that little bit of overpressure stretch, which gives her an increase in range. And she can work on the tightness there, and she can be guided by how much, tightness or pain symptoms she has. Okay, so that's what I would do for a work sort of situation or sitting down situation. Now, some people, they're too sore for that, or they're too acute for that, and they can't actually do that. There's too much pain there. But also, some people like doing it lying down. So we've got another one, number 2, for that. Okay, the second way of doing some rotation is lying down. Now, what we use is a Pilates ball. This helps you facilitate rotating with less muscle activation. So if you've got people that have got quite a bit of muscle spasm, maybe they've got a disc problem, this is quite a good option because it's unloaded and you get the movement of the ball helping you do the rotation. So if we put this ball under Pam's head, now the ball needs to sit under the skull, okay? So not under the neck, under the skull. The weight of your head is going to keep that ball in place. Little disclaimer though, with people with long hair or lots of hair at the back of their head, you can get a bit of movement of the ball, and I'll show you what to do to stabilize the ball. If someone like me who's got short hair, it's very easy, the ball stays in place. So, with this one, you can see at the moment, she's actually looking up on a angle about like that. What I want to do exactly is looking straight up. Okay, so she's in neutral there. Now from this point, what she's going to do, I'm going to show you right rotation. She's got to think about the same thing we did like with the chair. She's got to keep her eyes absolutely level. So she's going to rotate her head. Her eyes are going to go directly over that way. They can't start looking down, and she can't drop her chin. She also can't look up to the ceiling. So when she rotates her head to the right, she's going to think about spinning the ball to the left. Okay, so she's trying to use the ball as a fulcrum lever, which takes out some of the muscle work, like I said, to actually rotate. She'll even every now and again have to adjust that ball to make sure she's in the right spot. So this allows people to sort of do one rep at a time, if you like, and as she goes over, she keeps that line of sight absolutely level. You can see with her left hand, because she's, like I said, she's got long hair, she can stabilize that ball so it doesn't slip out the other way, and then she resets every rep and gets her chin up, because the tendency is to sort of drop your chin down with this one. So for her, she needs to just try and keep resetting every rep, stabilizing the ball and coming back. Now what you can do is either go like, oh, I'll do 10 to the right, 10 to the left, or you can alternate depending on what you need to do. Some people might just need to go one way, so this is really helpful if you just need to go one direction. Now once she's got that sussed and she's getting better with her range, she can get around close and close and closer to sort of that 80, 90 degrees. She can then add in some overpressor. So what she can do, well, I'll show you with my hand, as you get the same thing, pistol grip, she can add in pressure here and look down now to the floor and then add in the overpressure there, which you'll feel that stretch through her spine, and then come back and then reset again. Over time, what she'll find is she won't have to reset her head all the time. She'll get that pure rotation right and coming back. The good thing about this one, unlike the sitting one, is there's no side bending problem going on. So she won't run into trouble with rotating and side bending. That's not going to happen. It's more about that when she rotates, she's going to go into flexion when she comes either that way or coming back. So she'll notice that when she goes over, she might be quite good there. She's got to then think about keeping her chin up as she comes back. So when she comes back, she keeps her chin up, so she's still in that neutral, because most people want to sort of drop down like this, they sort of sink into that position. So rotating like that on the ball, like I said, is very, very good for people who need an unloaded option, and it does allow them to try and improve their range with a little bit less pain. So a good one for that. So number 3 is going to involve rotation again, but a bigger ball. So we're using a Swiss ball instead of Pilates ball, but unlike the other ones, this one is going to actually involve a bit of strengthening. So for her to try and hold the ball up, one, she's pushing back into the ball, okay, to keep it there. Plus, with people with long hair, they need to get a bit of pressure on it. But for this one, she has to keep a bit of pressure into the ball, otherwise she's going to be poked forward. So you do get a bit of retraction strengthening going on here. Then when she rotates, she's going to do a similar thing. She's going to try and think about the ball moving to the right if she's rotating left, okay? She's got to be keeping enough pressure on the ball to keep it in place, and then come back. And this one, you can just work through the range, okay? You may find that because the other ones, you can really improve your rotation. This one, you'll still improve your rotation, but you're going to improve the strengthening part of that rotation. You'll notice that her sternocleidoids are going to work. She's going to work quite hard at trying to keep the ball in place. But when she gets used to it, she'll find there's a lot of strengthening through the rotation. Now, if you're getting some strengthening going, you're going to improve your range even further, okay? Because some people's range loss is because they've got a strength loss, okay? So it's not only just about mobility and getting it looser, it's about getting it stronger through the range. So if you can get to this stage, it's really helpful to get that last little bit of rotation, but also it's very functional for you for sport. And if you're stronger, you're less likely to get pain and problems from weakness and tiredness, okay? So it's very important that we get people to this sort of stage if they can do it. Now, there's also an overpressure one with this as well. So when she goes to the left, she can use her hand on her right and just try and push that chin around as far as she wants and then come back. Okay, so you can get a little bit of overpressure, gets a bit of a range, especially if she's starting to run out with steam, with strength. If she hasn't got enough strength to rotate it around, she can add in a bit of pressure until she gets stronger and try and improve that. Now, like the second one, you're not going to get any tilting with this because you're held in place. She's just got to, like you can see, readjust the ball every now and again to make sure it doesn't slip out of place. But highly effective for strengthening through rotation and therefore increasing your rotation. It is a little bit hard to set up, but hey, it's worth it. So there's my third one. If you're struggling with your rotation, whether it be weakness or strength, try those three. We'll see you next time.